In this video we'll show you how we can machine a FUSI type thread, which is one of these which is used in clock and watch manufacturing. So we'll use the thread wizard. So the clearance planes and the XY coordinates for the center and so on are the same as for a metric or internal or external thread. The thread depth is the overall depth that you want to cut to. The thread depth here is the tooth thread for each pass, and the thread diameter is a position around the FUSI thread. So if we look here, this is the FUSI type shape that's been imported, and the thread depth is this one just here. The number of cuts and the pitch is the same as for all other threads. So we continue on. So the stock model needs to be built from an imported VBS file. So the VBS file is a Visual Basic script which is created using the PartMaster CAD system and then just transferred through via Visual Basic. But you don't need to know anything about Visual Basic. It's just a format that we use to transfer the data from one program to the next. So within the CAD system you create the drawing, which is this type of drawing here, using the curve fitting routine, and then we create the VBS script from that automatically. So that will be covered in a separate video, but the result is that you end up with this type of shape, which is the FUSI curve. So we will need to just browse for the folder where the Visual Basic script is kept, and then we import it, and then when that's imported you'll see the resultant shape just here. So if we continue on to the tool, so again the tool length and the tool flute diameters and so on are the same as for internal or external threads. And one thing that you probably will need to do on a FUSI thread is to say that we're having a flat tip here rather than a pointed tip, or rather than a radius tip. So for most cases the FUSI thread needs to be cut with a flat tipped tool like that. So we continue. So this is going to create the G-code file, and that will then call up the simulator when that's created. Now the FUSI threads are quite complex in their description, so the simulator will take a second or two to load because there's a lot of information and a lot of cutting parameters being loaded for the G-code file. Okay, so that's the tool and the FUSI stock that we have. So this is the shape that was created in the CAD system and imported as a VBS file. One thing to bear in mind is when you're running the simulator, go to the Cutsim tab here and set the accuracy to something below medium. If you set it to very high, then the system will need quite a lot of memory. So if you have any problems with memory, then set your simulation accuracy down to between low and medium. So let's just run the simulator now. Okay, so that's the FUSI thread, as you can see. So this is where the chain link will go between this gear and the next gear on the inside your clock or watch mechanism. Okay, so that's how to do a FUSI thread.